Jamin. Alright, my general. Thank you for joining this show. Probably I know so we have to do it, don't it? Make
Yeah,
do of it. And just deal with it quickly. Alright, so thank you for joining the show. We have to
I'm
give credit to Splash Digi. I am the orchestrator of all of this. You can just introduce yourself to the people and let them know, what in terms of politically where you're at and who you represent.
so my name is Renair Benjamin. I'm councillor for the Westchester division since March 2012, and my division covers the communities of Westchester, Cumberland, Cumberland Meadows, Portmore Gardens, a small section of Independence City, and that's and Cumberland. So that's about it. That's the area I represent, and I am a member of the council at the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation and, of course, the Portmore City Municipality, where I serve the people, ensuring that they are represented well at the local level.
Okay. How long have you been in politics?
Well, I've been in politics for the past 15 years and 13 years as councillor.
Okay.
I
And
first entered representational politics in 2007 when I ran in the what was known as a Crescent Division then. I ran there in 2007 and lost. Then in 2012, I ran in the Westchester Division in Portmore, where I was first elected as councillor.
so what was one of your motivations for entering into this career path? Really, well, I wouldn't say career path because the service
Yeah,
path.
yeah, it's definitely not a career path
Yeah,
because it's the people who decide how long you keep this job.
right, right.
Yeah, so to say I entered into it would not be the correct term. It was more like what led me there.
Mm,
Well, for starters, I've always been to term what is a leader. I grew up in the church where I was a leader at the youth department, men's department. And when I moved into the Angels Estate community in 1999, I was active in the Citizens Association. But before that, I was always a supporter of the People's National Party. I remember in Portmore here, I worked in previous election as outdoor agent and as cluster manager. So I was always a supporter of the PNP. But when I moved to the Angels community in 1999, a few years after I became the president of the Citizens Association, because I was always involved in community through the church, through school. When I was working at Cable and Wireless, I was a member of the UAW and I was a union delegate. So representation and leadership was always something that I'm into. So whilst they're active in the community in Angels Estate, I was introduced to Natalie Nita Garvey.
Mm,
She was
powerful
counselor of the
lady that.
Yeah, she was counselor of the Lauriston division at the time,
Hmm.
and she was selected to replace KD Knight.
Okay.
And I think it's now North Central St. Catherine. Before that, I believe it was East Central or support. So that's when I was really introduced to representational politics because at the time they needed a council for the Crescent Division. And I was introduced to her because I was active in the Citizens Association. And we met and we spoke. And from that time, I started campaigning with her.
Right.
So I was there, I think it was September 2007 of that year was a general election when she replaced Katie Knight. I campaigned with her right across the constituency, North Central St. Catherine there. And I must tell you that I learned a lot from her.
Right.
She's she's a workhorse when it comes on to campaigning. Very disciplined lady when it comes
Mm,
on to the politics. I
right.
remember her telling me that, yeah, Portia told her that, this thing like have to be a fire in your belly. You have to really want it to win.
Mm,
Yes, and I remember walking hills and valleys with her in that constituency. I remember we went up to climb up a practically a mountain just to go to one house to meet one lady,
Wow.
and only to be driven away by that person. So
Yeah.
I would say that I was got a baptism, a good baptism into the politics,
Right.
working with Natalie Nita Garvey at the time. So she basically was the one responsible for my entry into representational politics. Learned a lot from her. Learned the lessons from running the first time in the Crescent Division. I think my first time outing in the election, I lost by 78 votes that year, and I took the lessons from that campaign and that election and came over back to Portmore, where I basically grew up in the Westchester community and Portmore Gardens, where I would have been more known by family members. The church where I was baptized, Faith Assembly of God, is in that community as well. So it was like coming back home and more familiar with the voters or the electors at the time.
Right. Right. So
So,
what can you tell us about Westchester Cumberland Division? What stands out about that community?
well, it's Westchester Division, and it has mainly middle class, and it has one of what I like to describe as one of the indigenous communities in Portmore, which is Portmore Gardens, where they would have been the original settlers in that era of Portmore. Some of them leased land there going up to 50 years now in the Portmore Gardens area. And then you have the more structured community like Westchester, Cumberland, Cumberland Meadows, and Independence City. Those schemes were built by the NHT and other government agencies. So it's mainly a mixture of middle class, a lot of university graduates. So it's a very progressive community.
Okay. What about
Yes.
sports?
Yes, well, the year when I entered politics in 2012, 2011 going into 2012, the Westchester football team, they won the, I think was D1 title. So it's a community that is very active.
Mm,
The communities are very active in sports. Both communities, all the communities, they have a football club, they have netball clubs that are very active. And I am very big on sports as a counselor. I give support to these teams.
right.
So yes, it's a very progressive community. I, along with some members of the Cumberland community, helped to form the Cumberland Raiders Net Club. And every year since that club has been formed, I've been one of their sponsors of their uniforms and playing gears and net balls and so forth. So it's a very active community. Whereas the communities rather are very active where sports is concerned. Because right now in the JNA 2025 league, the Cumberland community has two teams there, and Westchester has a team as well in that league that I am actively supporting.
Right. So you could say that this area is the heartbeat of Portmore. Then, given the fact that some of the earliest settlers, that was the point at which they
Yes,
settled.
yes. There are some persons know that they are just regularizing the land situation there, where the government have has acquired some of the land by what is called compulsory acquisition
Mm-hmm.
from the original owners, and some of the owners I can't find, and some of those people are just in the process of getting title, but they will tell you that some of them told me that they have been there from 1974.
Wow. So
So
hold on. Isn't there a law that says after 12 years of paying tax and everything, you own your property? So
no, for some of those persons they would have what you call, they would have leased the land.
mm-hmm.
So they have where the owners are no, because they would have started out by lease the land. I believe one of the owner was up until the time of compulsory acquisition. He was still alive, and the owners could be found. So the government paid them for the land, and then sold the lands to those who were leasing it. That's on the Portmore Avenue, originally known as Portmore Lane, a
Mm-hmm.
section known as Portmore Close, Venus Close, and a section of Portmore Garden known as, they used to refer to as Scarland. Those owners were known, and then in recent times, persons would have owned the land and died, and there was no proper inheritance set out. So another place named Robinson Close and a section known as Brown's Land. The government acquired those by compulsory acquisition. The money that they would have paid for the land is going to into an escrow fund that when they find the owners or owners come forward, they would get it. But those areas, they are proper lease. People used to pay the lease every year for the land. So it's not a situation where they occupied it and there was no formal agreement between themselves and the owners. So that living on the land undisturbed wouldn't apply to them because the owners were actively collecting their lease.
Okay. What
Yes,
has? Go ahead. Sorry.
so the government has come in recently putting in infrastructure like road. I remember one area roads were put in place, and at my insistence, portable water pipes were laid so that they could get dependable water supply.
That's where
So,
I was going to go, because I wanted to
yeah,
ask you what is some of the biggest cries of the people in terms of what they're demanding from their representative, which is you, and
yeah.
their MP. What is that?
Well, for those original Portmore communities like Portmore Gardens, they are getting their roads now water, and thanks to their former member of parliament, Dr. Paul Robertson, he ensured that they got proper JPS connection and street lights and telephones and so forth. But in terms of their biggest cry now is centralized sewage, because this is one of the drawback for me is that they would have seen the communities like Cumberland, Westchester, Cumberland Meadows developed properly around them with all the amenities, central sewage, water, telephone, light. But they are now left behind where they are not connected to a central sewage system. So some of their grey water is going into the stormwater drain where it shouldn't be going. They have to have soakaways and pits in their yards that they have to pay money time and time again to be pulled. So that is one of my um, hopes and dreams going forward, that the central sewage network in these original communities can be developed so that it would relieve them of the cost of having to the term drawing their pits, especially when rainfall and so forth. Sanitation is a big issue
Wow.
in that original part of Portmore.
Right.
With that said, what keep me up as night as councillor these days is garbage collection.
Mighty God. That is a
Yeah,
problem almost everywhere. I realize now.
yes. In spite of the government promises of bringing in 150 trucks, they have brought in some trucks, yes, but I
Mr.
don't
Hold
know
on,
what seems to
Mr.
be the big.
Mr. Rainier, Mr. Benjamin.
Yeah,
Your microphone
yeah.
it kind of low. I had to
Oh,
turn
you
up.
want me to turn up?
Yeah, I had to
Okay, let me
turn up
try.
my computer a while ago, and it still was,
Are you hearing me any better?
uh, not
Any
really.
better?
Well, go
Hold on a
ahead, go
minute.
ahead. Me turn it up as much as me can, so they can hear it clearer. So I'll go on mute, but I don't want to cut the bill. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the garbage collection situation, very poor. You will have a stretch where like probably a month I don't get any call from the citizens or any complaint. But when you get any calls sometime from citizens that up to a month they have not had any garbage collection, and in some cases there are educational institutions too that are affected. And when that happens, as council, I have to be calling the NSWMA, because this is one of the upside down things in government in Jamaica. Because the municipalities and the local authorities are supposed to be responsible and carrying out garbage collection, but this is being done by the regulator instead, which is the NSWMA. They are the ones doing it when we should have been the one doing it, and then they regulate to ensure that we are doing our job. So it's upside down as we speak.
Okay, so I guess when you guys win the next election, you can put that back in its place where it's supposed to be. Yes.
Well, to be honest, it existed from we were in power, but in recent times, because of the challenges that we have been having, some of my colleagues and myself, we have been lobbying for this to go back to what the law says it's supposed to be.
Mm.
That the municipal authority are responsible,
Right.
because we should be responsible. We are the ones who do the property tax and the enforcement for property tax collection, which
Right.
funds garbage collection and street lights. But when those funds are collected, they only reflect on our books in the council for accounting purposes as it been done. But the money is really sent to the NSWMA, and
Oh.
they have their what you call, I forget what you call their subsidiaries like MPM and CPM that actually does the collection. So what should have really happened is that we should be the one collecting and see to the collection. And then when persons and community members now having issues and it's not being collected, they should be calling NSWMA, which in turn should be contacting us and regulating and probably putting sanctions and different things. But they are the ones doing it, so we have to be actually be the regulator, which we should not be.
Mm.
But on the positive side, though, whenever we do reach out, their parish manager and their monitors do respond,
Right.
but it has to be too often. The
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
areas the only areas I would have give them some kudos for or some applause is they have acquired some tipper trucks. So
Right.
like last year December, with the help of their tipper trucks and getting front and loaders and tractors from the municipality, I was able to remove over 10 truckloads of debris, garbage, and construction debris from the communities. And I want to use this opportunity to ask citizens, not just in my division, stop the illegal dumping, stop dumping in on the drain embankments and in the drain and so forth, because it's a perennial problem. As Jamaicans and as citizens,
We have a
we don't
responsibility.
have much. Yeah, we have a responsibility, and a lot of us are not exercising those responsibility.
True.
You will have persons doing construction at their premises, and instead of paying a company or someone to properly dispose of their construction debris, you find them dumping it on the drain embankment or in open lots in the communities. And you have some people who make it a habit to go and collect garbage elsewhere and dump it in the community. So I am appealing to residents. You have a responsibility as well. And then I was taken aback when, someone took me on social media to say that, a particular community is dirty. And I said, listen, no, you can't accuse it. That's an indictment against the residents, because the councillor doesn't dump anything in the community or bring any garbage there. It's the residents who are living there. And I've been one, sometimes you clean up an area, and once you clean an area, it's almost as if it is an invitation for residents to go back and dump there.
Yeah. Wow.
So they have a responsibility as well. But
All
the
right. So
garbage collection
that
is
seems
a
like a
sore
very
thought.
big issue. So
Yes,
what
in
would you
every
say?
community in my division.
So what would you say is the responsibility of a councillor then? Is it to provide proper garbage units to collect the garbage, and then the citizens
Well, well,
definitely
well,
definitely
that's
would
one of the
have to
core.
be, huh?
That's one of the core responsibility of the municipalities and the local authority.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Garbage collection,
Yeah.
street lighting,
Yeah.
beautification, some aspect of sanitation.
Right.
So, so as but as councillor, our jobs goes more. I would say being a councillor is one of the most rounded jobs that I've done. I'm a
You.
trained engineering. I'm a trained
Oh.
engineer in
Okay.
telecommunications
Right.
and computer networking, and I'm telling you, this job as councillor, you have to be a pastor, doctor,
Oh
social
gosh,
worker.
man.
You just have to. People call you for advice just about anything, so you have to be on at the top of your game,
Yes.
knowing what is happening in the country, where opportunities lie for persons,
Mm-hmm.
making recommendation. And we have in Portmore at our municipality, we have a very active social work service, social support for community things. So like even before the government come up with the youth summer employment program through the Ministry of Local Government, we have active youth summer employment through the municipality in Portmore. We support citizen association, sports club, as I mentioned earlier, and so forth. So the job as councillor, to me, the local government system that we have in Jamaica here, um, I believe it's the one that is closest to the people and
Yes.
serve the people the most.
Most important.
Yes,
Most
they see
important.
the earth. So, for example, almost every weekend I'm at a funeral. Speaking to you, I was just at a funeral earlier. The people, they want to see the representatives when they are mourning, when they are rejoicing. You have to be at the weddings, the baby showers, you name it, the wakes, when they have the remembrance or the cultural expression for their loved ones who die. So it's almost that the people take it from just what is on paper and your core responsibilities to making you into that social worker, that advisor, that comforter, that person who can be in touch with them. Because a lot of things that even that is not in on paper or responsibility. So like when they have issues, especially with the utility companies, persons were raking me over the coal just a few days ago about a rotten utility pole that is falling and damaging the stanchion on their house. And that is an issue that would have I would have personally reported to JPS over and over. But when it is not done, people don't distinguish between you,
Yes.
utility companies,
And you
private
have to
or
take
public.
that with humility.
Yes, I have to take it up as if it's my core responsibility as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And write to the utility company, report it, take pictures. I did a video and I said, well, within 2 weeks, if it's not addressed, I'm going to social media with it because sometimes some of these utility companies they don't take action until after the posting on X or Twitter or you
Yes.
name it.
Listen,
That's the time
I can see that
they
happening.
choose to respond.
Because that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to tell you. Because that's the time them really, oh Lord.
Hello.
I am here, man. I had to turn off my microphone because I feet was passing with
Okay. Okay.
bass odyssey in its turned up in his vehicle. I think anyway,
Yes.
I was saying that yeah, you have to do that. And
Yes.
I would encourage every single PMP individual to get busy on social media. If there's an issue
Yes.
in your area, you write to
Yeah.
JPS, you put up on your social media. Today I wrote to JPS, such and such and such. You see 1 week
Yes.
pass and 2 week pass, you go back to the reference. I wrote to JPS, such and such, I haven't got anything, and the people are pressuring me. I think that is going to
Yes.
help with accountability of these
Yes.
agencies to
Because
do their job in a timely manner.
yes, these corporate bodies don't want bad publicity or negative press. So when you go to social media, and I must say with JPS, 12 or 13 years ago when I was councillor, things with them in terms of street lamps have improved. The new technology, the LED lamps that they are using now, they are more reliable than the previous lamps that they used to use. So we don't have frequent outages of street lamps like times gone by. And the response time in terms of repairing street lamps, those have improved.
La-
So
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here talking with Mr. Renair Benjamin, all right, councillor for the Westchester division in Portmore. You understand, which is considered the heartbeat where some of the first residents settled for that
yes,
wonderful community. But we want to
yes,
segue a little bit into because we reached 24 minutes in the interview. I want to talk about education yet, which is one of
yes,
the pillars of raising up our society and ultimately the people in quality of life. How many schools is in your division?
Well, I have one high school in my division and four early childhood institutions.
Um,
And I
mhm. Go ahead.
yes, and I must say that the Cumberland High School, yes, it's the only government-owned institution in my division, and it's a sort of it's a paradoxical situation because while it's situated in my division, I believe up to about 98% of the students there are from outside my division, and I could say safely that 70% of the students there are outside of the constituency
Oh.
because you find out that high schools serve mostly children from Spanish Town,
Mm.
Central Village, and those areas,
Oh.
an area outside of Southeast St. Catherine.
Mm.
But in terms of education, the standards in my division is very high. Most of the children there they do very well. Attend most of the traditional high school in St. Catherine and Kingston and St. Andrew. And as counselor, I give a lot of support where education is concerned. My proudest and my biggest achievement, as one lady said to me once, that this job that I'm doing as counselor, she said it's the most important job I have ever done. And when I asked her why, she said that she realized that I am strong in helping to educate the children in my division because the
That's a great thing.
grants,
Hmm.
book vouchers, and other assistance that I've given,
Hmm.
I have watched children in my division from supporting them from primary school and seeing them graduating as doctors, lawyers, and support. So
Wow. Come on, man.
I'm really, really, and
Yes.
as a father of three children myself, I am big on education. My eldest child, my son, is now a medical doctor, and my daughter is in her fourth year in medical school in Cuba. So I'm really a staunch believer in education, in empowering our country and our youths. So I and the early childhood institution, I have I've given them support, help the teachers with laptop, tablets, give help where it's necessary, and even recently, Dr. Alfred Dawes and myself visited these early childhood institutions in the community and give them help, support fundraising. He gave them additional tablets as well. So we're giving the support. And of course, there are individuals who will come to me from time to time for assistance, whether it be school fees and support, especially in these early childhood institutions that they don't have government paid teachers. Even if they have government paid teachers, maybe it's one or two. And sometimes persons struggle to find those weekly or monthly school fee to keep the schools going. So from time to time, I have to step in with whatever assistance I can give.
All right. Two things before you go.
Yes,
One is given how important a counselor is to
yes,
the people in representation. When you look at the situation on the other side with Mr. Samuda's seat and the people asking and demanding for Mr. Delano's civil right, and this gentleman coming in that it appears that the prime minister is fond of. I mean, how you view that situation?
well, you see, I, again, I always try to stay away from their internal signal. But when you look at it,
Right.
the role of a member of parliament these days, I realize that some of the MPs on the JLP side, they are trying to do the work that councillors are supposed to be doing now.
Oh.
Yes, a lot of the funding, sometimes when you hear about drain cleaning and certain removal of bulky waste,
Right.
the things are upside down where governance is concerned in the
Hmm.
country under the JLP.
So
Because,
it's like a team and people don't know their roles.
yes, because things like removal of bulky waste, especially in the December period, There is no way on earth the government should be sending funding to MPs to the removal of bulky waste. And under the law, that is strictly the responsibility of the local authority.
Wow.
The MP should be spending time helping to make laws and understanding the laws and reforming laws to be more relevant to the people and
Right.
ensuring that the rights of citizens are not violated. And you don't see them doing any of that.
Mm. Well, it just touch power next point, you know. Boy, may I tell you,
But
violation
so
of the
when
laws
I
and
see
system.
for, for,
Mm-mm.
for when I see for the past 3 years, every Christmas a year, 3 million, 2 million being given to each member of parliament for removal of bulky waste. And sometimes in my division, I don't see no removal of any bulky waste.
Right.
But so back to the original question you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Locally, sometimes it's neither here nor there where who is the MP
Okay.
because the councillors are the workers of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Most time you have an MP who is a minister or a junior minister. It's the councillor who have to be the heavy lifting.
Right.
In our system of government, the MP is really there sometimes to serve on the executive. And Mr. Steve right now is now a junior minister in tourism, I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe who gets that constituency doesn't really have anything to do with how they will represent the people. It's
Okay.
more about, to me, it's about future battles that are to come in the JLP and who supported who in the past and who is supporting who now.
Yes. All
And
right.
I believe
Go ahead.
it
Sorry.
comes down to a issue of class as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Democratically.
Yes, it comes down to an issue of class because when you look who the one opponent, one of the person represent, and the JLP, I believe, is a confused party, because
Talk about it.
when I see them sometimes attacking the skin color of my party leader.
Talk
But when you
about
look
it,
at
my boss. Talk
when you
about
look
it.
at when you look at a Christian Tavares and a Samuda, they don't look much different from Margol in terms of skin color.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so sometimes they make skin color an issue. And the truth is, the PNP is the only party that black, white, and everybody has served at the highest level.
Facts.
And it seems like if you're not brown or eye skin color, as some put it, you can probably never ever serve as a leader of the JLP. And I
That
guess that
piece
they
right
want to
there.
kill the alligator and the egg. And I heard that Mr. Seabright probably has leadership ambition, and they want to
Mm.
probably try to stop him in his tracks from now.
Well, in closing, enough about them. In terms
Yes.
of your area of Westchester there, what are some of the things you're looking forward to get done? What are some of the things you're bringing to the constituency to take it to the next level when you guys assume power the next general election?
Well, when you ask the question, I want to just make sure to, because I have two large communities in, and sometimes I get accused of
Oh,
doing
sorry,
more
so I have
work
to
in one
mention
than
the other one too.
the community, the Westchester, Cumberland, Portmore
West
Garden,
Session
Cumberland
Cumberland, yes.
Meadows,
I don't
Portmore
want to left out
Gardens.
nobody. Big up Portmore.
Yes, yes. So even though it is called the Westchester Division, yeah, I love to refer to the communities and have a small section of Independent City community, Texas Avenue, Nevada Avenue, Arizona Avenue,
Right.
and a part of Augusta Drive. So with a change of government, one of the things I expect, especially coming from central government, is improvement in the water supply for the people. Every week, there's either water lack off or low water pressure. So that is one of the things I want to see my party bring improvement to as soon as we assume power. NWC is not giving the people a reliable or a good supply of water in my division, and by extension, Portmore. Every week, just as the garbage collection, that's my next headache. low water pressure or no water.
Mm.
So that's one of the improvement I would like to see when the PNP assume power. Next, I expect my party to get more garbage trucks.
Mm.
When I was just elected councillor, I asked how many trucks are serving Portmore, and I was told 12. Recently, we were told that 15 trucks are, and that's sufficient. And that's if you have 15 all the time, because since 2012, more than 10 communities with thousands of other residents have been added to Portmore and Greater Portmore.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the community where I reside now, Phoenix Park Village, just just up to last 2 years, 2,000 additional homes were added. And since
Wow.
then, 3,000 more have been added to that Phoenix Park Village area. You have an area coming off Municipal Boulevard, Kentech, thousands and more homes are coming. And the garbage collection infrastructure and equipment are not keeping pace with the development.
Mm. Two
And
things.
these are things,
Go ahead.
yeah, these are things that the central government, and we need more funding and more resources
Right.
at the municipality to deal with drain cleaning and beautification.
Well,
What we're getting so far is woefully inadequate.
two things you have to make sure so those trucks are not 16 years old. Those new trucks, all right. Just
Yeah,
make sure
yes,
so you
yes,
guys
like
procure
the
some.
like the school like the school
Yes,
bus.
yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
and not only the age, those are American made vehicles, so those space buses have can't stop on the road and let off children
Exactly.
because of where the door is. So,
Yes, yes.
and
So
we realize that coming on to the election, a lot of promises and things are being done.
I tell
What
you.
it seems like what was done in 9 years, they're trying to do it in 9 days.
You mean 100 days?
No, they want to do it in 9 days.
Well,
And with
with all the development and housing that the People's National Party has committed to 50,000 in the next 5 years. Yeah, garbage
and,
collection has to be, and roads and water, and in terms of light,
and
energy, affordable
yes,
energy has to be at the top of the list.
and not just 50,000 houses, 50,000 low income
Low
houses.
income, right? Thank you very much for
Yeah,
that.
because that's a problem. Even in my division, there's a new community being built, a gated community by name of Chester Creek, and I believe the price tag now is about 31 million.
31 million for one house.
Yes, and that's a gated community being developed by Wicca.
One bedroom or two bedroom.
2 bedroom townhouse units.
Mighty God.
So the low income persons, the houses that are being built in Portmore in mass proportion now. The cheapest ones that have been built in the area of Phoenix Park Village by Gore Developments, the last price tag was 18 million. That
Woo.
you could even consider that as low income, because two persons cannot borrow to get one of those houses from NHT. I think they recently put it at 9 billion, and those probably with escalation they soon reach about 19 million or 20 million.
Wow.
So you need some houses being built where for low income persons that one person can go to the NHT and borrow to buy one of those houses.
Wow.
In 1999, when I bought a house, my wife and I at the time, we could go and borrow from the NHT and buy that house and
Mm-hmm.
still have money left. We didn't have to even borrow the full amount that was available to us.
My
That is what you
God.
expect. That is what I expect. And angels at that time wasn't even considered as a low income.
So
It
who
was
was
middle
the
class
prime
working.
minister in 1999?
The most honorable PJ Patterson.
You mean the same man with them say mash up the country?
Yes.
My
Built
God.
out.
You mean to tell me
The,
so you
the,
could have
the,
borrowed a loan and buy a
yes.
house and have
And
money
didn't have
left
to
back?
borrow the full amount from NHT.
Mighty
Combined
God.
the two. Yes, so and then they criticize him, but and in that period of time, a lot of working class people. I remember a lot of my co-workers from cable wireless at the time. They were able, we were able to buy houses, send our children to school, raise family, send them to university. in Jamaica and here we love. We witnessed the development of this country under PJ Patterson. Highways being built, roads improved. So when they come with this fool argument about PNP mash up country in 18 years, and after them who are talking, they live their best lives
Them best
under the People's
life.
National Party. That's when
Mm-mm.
that's when we could buy deportee. When the used car market was open up, that ordinary persons like me could go to the bank and
I
buy
be
a
a car
car.
come on Jamaica under PJ. Car like a
Yes,
foolishness.
people are talking about PNP mash up the country. They are hypocritical. They live their best lives after the biggest improvement. More millionaires were added to Jamaica in that 18-year period more than any other time.
Mm.
Because at that time, when you own a house, you become a millionaire.
Yes.
Because the equity in those property, and you could afford to buy it now.
Yeah, the
You
equity
have
in
to,
those properties now is ridiculous.
yes. Now, if you want to buy one of these houses that they are built, three of you have to borrow from
Yeah, I true your talk.
NHT to
I
buy
went to
one,
NHT. That is true. That was true.
and
That was true eight
and
years
if
ago, and it's still true now.
and if you go to NHT now, you still have to go to a bank or a third party institution to get more money to borrow to buy the premises
Yes, you have to go to the bank, and NHT
because
have
of
to
the
send it to
cost.
the bank too.
Yes, under the PNP it wasn't so. Check
Yeah,
out all of those schemes building Greater Portmore, down Old Harbour Road there, White Waters, all of those communities that were built. Angels Estate, Angels Grove, Portmore Pines, Cedar Grove. People, Jamaicans were able to buy houses, especially here in Portmore. Schools were built.
yeah. A lot of schools
And
was built.
you
A
have to
lot of
support these new
schools.
housing development.
Yeah,
I
and
remember
then
in one go, PJ Patterson built 17 new education and
yeah,
institution,
and
Christian,
also he paid off the IMF. Can't
paid
forget
off
that.
the IMF.
We can't forget that.
So when
That's
people
crazy.
talking about the, nonsense about PNP mash up country in 18 years, lie, propaganda. I mean, we didn't achieve everything.
No, no,
We
no.
had some setbacks,
Nobody's
but it is,
perfect. Nobody's perfect.
and even what we're achieving now is a platform that the PNP built and set the country on.
The fiscal prudence that they boast about.
Yes, I hear the Prime Minister in one of his ads, he claimed that he will tell you that election is not on his mind, but every minute you turn on the radio, especially Love FM that I love to listen in the morning, you
Yeah.
hear excerpt of his budget speech using government resources to campaign.
Yes.
And this is one of the things that I want to call them out on. They
Oh,
are
go ahead, my
using
boss.
government they are using government resources to campaign through office of the Prime Minister and these things and various ministries. But yet, so when the PNP's candidates are spending their money putting up billboard, they are taking them down
Mm, mm,
because
mm.
they don't want the PNP to campaign. They are hypocrites. They are actively campaigning for the general election. And
Yes.
that style, as you would put it,
Yes. Yes.
because
Fine
they can
style.
use the government resource to campaign. But when the PNP is spending our money, the mayor of Montego Bay, they are illegally removed.
Yes.
The candidates down there, billboard, and even Portmore here. I put up a few of Dr. Dawes posters in my division, and overnight I see them disappear.
What you saying to me?
So, yes, so it is
So
as if
it's,
they
it's, a, it's
don't
an
want to see
island wide.
it's an island-wide thing. I see even coming Danishka Williams
Yes,
complaining.
man. Them a tear down for your poster, them man.
Yes,
Wicked man.
so it's what? And if since they claim that they are achievement and what they are doing, so why they are
Yes.
afraid of the PNP candidates campaigning
Exactly.
and
Them
putting
only
their images out there?
if they were so confident about a third term, all if you no paint every street with poster, every corner, them should not take them down.
They are very worried.
Of course, them know
Very,
so them
very
losing.
worried.
Them know so they have lost. You know, if not,
Yes,
but now maybe. They would have been
and
surprised how many people are very quietly waiting on them to call the election. They
wait,
not even get
yes,
nice like we.
yes, and PNP is in the ascendancy, and one of the things that I've been using to judge that, um, when I visit the supermarket, churches, various places that I go in Portmore, just like in 2011 when PNP was coming back to power, people see me in the line in the supermarket. Councillor, make sure they take it back, Time come. Just about everywhere I go gas station I encounter people are silently and quietly
Man.
waiting
Yeah, man. That's true,
for
man.
the
That's true
trumpet
thing.
to sound. Yes.
Well, if you
So
have anything
we
in
looking forward.
closing, if you have anything in closing, you know what I mean, you can go ahead. I just want to say before
Yes.
you go, I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yes.
My view of you is that, you're a true servant of the people, a man of humility and integrity. And the people of your division, they are lucky to have you. They are lucky to have you. I listen carefully to how you speak, and I hear the passion to
Yes. Thank you.
serve,
Thank you.
in your voice. Yeah, man, I'm a person that assess people, and
Yes.
I have to say honestly, that is my honest thoughts about,
Yes.
you. So big up yourself.
Yes. And I've gotten the vote of confidence from the people going 3 terms now. And this is no easy feat. Um, I first was elected by them when the People's National Party was in power and I had a PNP MP. The second time around, I had a PNP MP, but the PNP wasn't in government. And then the third time around, the JLP is in government. There's a JLP MP there, and they gave me the biggest victory and the biggest margin of victory. So I want to thank the people of my division for the vote of confidence that they have given me. And in closing, I just want to say to persons in Jamaica that you have been making your voice heard. I hear you at the church, at the supermarket, everywhere. But I want to say to you, it all depends on you. You must come out and vote this time to take out the JLP out of government. This is my appeal to you. We have some very good representatives and we have some very excellent plan. Comrade Dr. Alfred Dawes has some very good plans for the medical sector and to lead Jamaica into a first class um, health system. I want you to come out and support him in the next general election. So this is my final appeal to you. And we will work very well with Dr. Alfred Dawes as Member of Parliament and as our next Minister of Health. Portmore needs a hospital and is committed as the next Minister of Health to build a hospital in Portmore with a new culture, first class facility and equipment and technology, and well trained health care workers. So we want you to elect Comrade Dr. Alfred Dawes as your next Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine. That's my final appeal.
Yes, man. Blessings, Sir Benjamin. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I learned a
You're
lot
welcome.
from you just breaking down because I'm young to the politics. You understand?
No
Um,
problem.
yeah, and really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, may I tell you that was Sir Renair Benjamin, Councillor of Westchester, and the other places in the area of Portmore that fall under that. Me don't know all of them, so they don't come for me. Big up Portmore. Big up Portmore.